This motor runs great once it's warm, but cold, it barely wants to fire unless I cheat and spray carb cleaner directly into the cylinders, which really isn't a fix, as you all know. Um, so today we're going to be diagnosing what's going on with this 2005 Johnson 60 horsepower EFI outboard motor the right way. We're going to try to figure out what's going on without cheating anymore with the carb cleaner. So wish me luck. If you've been following along so far, we've actually done a fair amount of work to this so far. We have replaced the lower unit, brand new water pump, new impeller, new seals, gasket for that. Everything was replaced. We replaced the oil in the lower unit. We did a new battery, wiring for the battery, checked all of that. We moved the battery to its new location. We also replaced the anodes that were pretty bad and corroded. And I think that might be it. But we've come a long way so far. So my next step is to really figure out what's going on with this cold start issue on this outboard. Once this motor warms up, it really runs great, and it'll start up again instantly every time. We've had it out on the water, and after I initially warmed it up in the yard with the carb cleaner, once we get to the water, it starts right up. Every time we stop and then restart, it starts right up like a charm, no issues at all. So I think the ignition is fine. Compression feels good. So that leaves us with fuel. So cold starts, they definitely need a richer fuel mixture. If the fuel pressure isn't right, or something in the VST, the vapor separator tank is clogged or not allowing fuel to pass the right way and pressurize, we could definitely be having issues if that's dirty or anything like that. Or the high pressure pump, fuel pump that's in the VST, if that's weak, we could definitely have some issues with that. But if you could hear it on the clip, I'm not sure, earlier, you can hear the fuel pump actually engaging when you turn the key to the on position. You can hear it running, so that's definitely working as far as power goes, but I don't know if the fuel is actually getting pressurized into the fuel rail enough. And here's the thing, pulling the VST to really check for those clogs or the filters or the fuel pump, it's really not a 5-minute job. It's a little bit more extensive than that. You have to remove the intake manifold. There's like, I think 9 or maybe 11 bolts holding that on. Obviously remove the lower cover. Remove the fuel rail, all the computer parts that are plugged into it, all the fuel lines. And then on the back of this intake manifold, the VST is mounted in there. I don't know if you can get an eye on it, but that metal tank back there, that's the VST that could potentially be causing us issues. Pulling the VST, this would definitely be like the biggest mechanical job I've tackled on the boat so far. And so the question is, do I go all in? Do I just rip it off there, start unbolting stuff? The thing I'm afraid of is if something breaks or parts do need replacing, they're not the easiest to get for this outboard. This is a 2005. It's a bit older. I found a few good websites for sourcing parts, but not everything. They definitely don't have everything. So before I start unbolting stuff and really tackling that VST job, I want to rule out some other common issues. One of those issues we've already addressed is the battery and the voltage during crank. I have a voltage meter there. We've checked it. With the new battery and new wiring, everything is good for that, so we can check that off our list. The other thing that we're going to dive into today is spark plug condition. I've really honestly only looked at the top spark plug when I was spraying some carb cleaner in there to get this thing running. So we're going to take all of those out, give a quick check, see what's going on. And then other fuel issues, primer bulb, things, making sure the fuel is getting where it needs to go. I've been monitoring those things. I also have today a new fuel tank, a new fuel filter, and we're going to get those installed hopefully in this video as well to try to mitigate any other issues that's going on with the fuel system here. Also, if you've worked on these engines, older EFI, 60 horsepower Johnson, or really any outboard that's had cold start issues, comment below. Let me know if you would go towards the plugs and injectors first, or if you'd go straight for the VST as the culprit for this issue. So comment below, let me know how it went for you and maybe what direction I should go in. Thanks. All right, so in order to get access easily to all 4 of these plugs, we're gonna have to take off our side cover and allow access a little easier to what we need to work on. So hang tight with me while I grab the tools I need, and we'll get this taken off there. So another thing that I'm going to do just to save any headache down the road is to actually label each one of these before I pull them out so that I can make sure they go back in the right spot with no issues. All right, so I got 3 of them labeled. If I needed to label the 4th one, well, we'd probably be in trouble there. But so we're gonna start pulling these and see what we get. Spark plug 1. I'm gonna go set these on a rag and we'll kind of go through them, check them out together in just a second. Coming out. Cylinder 2. All right, cylinder 3. There's a couple things to look for. If they're like dry and white, or if they're wet with gas, or if they're oily, or if they're carbon fouled, they'll all kind of tell us a different thing. And if these are worn or fouled, especially during cold starts, that weak spark will definitely make it really hard to start a cold engine. So maybe we'll find something that'll help us along our journey here. Number 3. And then lastly, number 4. Hopefully getting these checked out and replaced will give us a nice strong spark to make it easier to start when it's cold. And number 4. All right, so here are our 4 spark plugs, 1, 2, 3, 4 cylinder. And I did check them. They are the right spark plug. The NGK BPR 6ES is what we're looking for. I don't know if you can probably not read that, and I got my feeler gauge out and just gonna check to see the gap on these. It's supposed to be between 0.028 and 0.31, so just kind of making sure where these are set. Number 2 is definitely probably the worst looking. It looks like a little bit of gasoline or maybe even a little oily on there. Number 3 is pretty dry. And they're all gapped pretty good. Also number 4 is pretty wet, gasoline or oily in there. So we're gonna get these replaced with all new ones. I got the new ones just the other day at the hardware store, and so we got brand new spark plugs. I'm gonna check the gap on these, make sure they're set right, and then we'll install these back on the motor. Stay tuned. All right, so I got the spark plugs all gapped correctly and ready to install these fresh new ones. And then we'll do a quick comparison test. See if anything's different from before when we were having our other cold start issues. So get all these in there and I'll check back in with you. You should hear these or feel them kind of click on there. How you know they're seated on there all the way. All right, let me get some water back on this thing. Just give it a turn over and see if she responds any different with the new spark plugs. All right, well, definitely no different, same symptoms, which is what I thought would happen, but you never know. Just wanted to check that first since that's a pretty easy, cheap fix. Make sure before we start chasing other fuel issues. So on to the next thing. All right, well, we got those spark plugs swapped in, and as I expected, they didn't really solve our issue. I wasn't really anticipating that they would. But it is good to know that those are replaced. Who knows when the last time those were replaced were, so it's good to know that they're fresh, and that isn't our issue. We can kind of check that off the list for sure. So next things, in the next video, I'm going to replace the fuel tank and any lines I need to along the way, but the fuel tank, which is down here, I'm going to replace the fuel tank. I got a brand new one. The vent on this one seems to have some issues, so I know it's not going to fix all our issues, but I figured if we're going to do a fuel kind of reset, I'm going to start from scratch, get a brand new fuel tank, I'm going to get fresh fuel, and we're going to really start from scratch. So I got that, and the other thing we're going to be replacing is this fuel filter right here I got. And then I also ordered a new high pressure fuel pump, which sits down under here, but I'll show you next time. There's some interesting stuff going on down there. I found out that there is no high pressure fuel pump on this, high pressure fuel filter on this motor. It had been removed, and I guess I read a little bit about it. I guess that was somewhat of a common thing for this engine. Manufacturers or other mechanics even would remove that high pressure fuel filter in order to just have better fuel flow, because it's kind of a known issue for these things, the fuel pressure. So I'm going to do the fuel tank, the fuel filters I have, check all those fuel lines, and then we'll try to start again. And then from there, we're going to just dive in and tackle the VST project to examine the fuel pump in there, the high pressure fuel pump, and the filters that are in there. I have new parts on the way, new filters and new gaskets for the intake manifold and the new O-ring for the VST, so that once I get those parts, then I can go through and start disassembling this and hopefully find some more answers to our problems. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. I know this was kind of a short one today, just had a couple little things to do, but as always, I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Don't forget to comment down below, subscribe, and like the video. It helps me in growing this channel, and I totally appreciate it. So love you guys. Catch you next time. All right, peace.